intention to overturn Roe v. Wade that was leaked Monday night, we're even more grateful to have our pro-choice leaders in Illinois. Governor Pritzker and Lieutenant Governor Stratton are some of the most pro-choice elected officials in the country. Personal PAC is so proud to support them for re-election, and I hope all of you will too. We're going to have to fight really hard to get them re-elected. I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker. Juliana Stratton serves as Illinois' 48th Lieutenant Governor, and she's the first Black woman to ever hold the position. In this role, she leads the Justice, Equity, and Opportunity Initiative, chairs the Illinois Council on Women and Girls, as well as several other programs. Lieutenant Governor Stratton's entire career has focused on bringing people together, building consensus, and solving problems. She's a restorative justice practitioner and trained peace circle keeper. She was born and raised on the south side of Chicago and is the proud graduate of the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign and DePaul's University College of Law.
Woohoo, DePaul!
She and her husband Brian live in the Bronzeville community and have 4 daughters. With that, welcome and thank you, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
Just gonna move this over. I felt like a comedian, like so I'm just gonna.
Thank you for that warm introduction, and I just want to thank you and Grace and Lauren and all of Jane's Army for hosting tonight, for bringing everyone here to an event, by the way, that was planned.
Can you imagine?
I tried to do my whole deal, and look what happened.
There's a backup.
Oh, and
Am I using this one?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, this one is.
Now you can really work the room. It's a hot mic.
Yeah.
I just might do that. Because I do feel like we need to be close as we have this conversation. Before I get started, let's acknowledge Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle, who Thank you for being here and all that you do, Madam President. And I just want to say, I'm so grateful for the work of Jane's Army and all that you do to educate and motivate and activate pro-choice voters to make sure that we are ready for November. How many of you feel like after yesterday that we still need additional motivation? Or do you feel pretty motivated today? But here's the thing that Jane's Army knows. It's one thing to be educated. It's another thing to be motivated. And it's still another thing to be activated. And that's where we need to be in this moment in time. When this event was planned, we did not know that there was going to be a leak of a draft memo from the United States Supreme Court making it clear that they were poised to overturn Roe v. Wade, thereby bringing to an end 50 years of a woman's right to choose being a fundamental right in this country. We didn't know that. And yet you were still going to come out, because here's what we did know, that it was on its way. As Hannah said, we were shocked, but not surprised. Because we know from the day that that decision was made that Republicans have been working every single day since then to try to take us backwards. Every single day. So I had to write out a couple of the emotions that I was feeling. Because quite frankly, I can't speak for anyone in this room, but even though we knew it was coming, and even though we knew what Illinois has done to make sure that we enshrine reproductive rights and a woman's right to choose into state law, it was a gut punch. It was a gut punch. It was the kind of gut punch where I had to pick up the phone and call my adult daughters and say, how are you doing? Because I'm not doing well. And they told me right from the beginning, they're not doing well either. How could it be, Mom, they asked me, that I would not be trusted to decide for myself what is best for my own body? What does that mean? That I would not be able to decide for myself what my future should look like. They wanted to know, what kind of situation do I find myself in at 24, at 27, that I can't decide for myself? So, what were my emotions? And I'd like to know if anybody felt like this. I felt devastated.
Yeah.
I felt devastated, not just for what this means for those of us who are here, but devastated for women all across the country, especially for marginalized communities. Because how many of you all know that abortion rights is an economic justice issue? Women, Black women, Latinas, women who are low income, immigrant women, our LGBTQ plus community. What this is doing is it's saying that you don't have the ability to decide for yourself what is best. And women of color are going to be disproportionately impacted by this decision if and when it comes to pass. I felt angry. Anybody else in here feel angry? I felt angry because it was so dehumanizing to think that you would decide that because someone has a uterus, that they cannot decide what their future should look like. How dare you? How dare you? And what else did I feel? I like this last one. Said it before. I felt motivated. I felt motivated because this is a decision that is for women to make, not politicians. And we have to come together and decide that yes, I was devastated, yes, I'm angry, and I'm going to pour all of that in to continue this fight. It is not over. It is not over. Republican extremists want to turn the clock back. But we're not going back. We are not going back. And because you are ready and educated and motivated and now activated, we are going to fight every single day. Not just for ourselves, but for the women all across this country who deserve better. Who deserve better. So, what does that look like? We have an election coming up in November. JB and I have already committed, and I hope you saw it all over the news yesterday and all over the news today. We are going to make sure that we do everything that we can to ensure that women's reproductive rights are protected here in Illinois. We've already had the passage of HB 40 because of all of you. We already passed the Reproductive Health Act because of all of you. The parental notification repeal because of all of you. That's the work that's been done, and as long as it's on our watch, we will make sure that the right to choose remains the law of the land here in Illinois. I want to make that clear. If anybody asks you, that's what's going to happen. You understand? If anybody asks you, okay? All right.
He's with you.
But let me be clear. The Republicans, including the ones in the Illinois primary, they want to make abortion illegal all across this country. Don't be mistaken. Don't be mistaken by those who are keeping it quiet, who don't want to answer the questions, the ones that are kind of like playing both sides. Be clear. That's where they want to go. And if we don't turn out and make sure that we elect pro-choice Democrats up and down the ticket, That's what's at stake. We can't let that happen. My heart has been heavy since yesterday. And it has been incredibly emotional. And as I said to someone today, this is not just about our physical health, this is a mental health issue. Because the stress and the strain that so many will be experiencing, the decision that my economic future, I can't go to school or I can't decide what I want for my career, that is not okay. We're not going to let it happen. So, when I say activated James Army, that means we are going to knock on every door. It means that we're going to volunteer and pick up the phone and make phone calls. It means we're going to come to events like this and make sure people are educated. It means we're going to have those difficult conversations with neighbors and friends and family members. It's going to mean that we are going to pull every ounce of energy that we have to say we are not going back, that Illinois trusts women, and we are going to make sure that it's women that make the decisions for what's best for them, not politicians. Are we going to do that?
Yay!
All right. I think my time is up. But I want to say one more thing because I got to come up here. Back to my stand that was a fail. It was a fail, okay. I'm not meant to be a comedian. But I do need to say this. This isn't just about abortion rights. Because you see from just the little sample of the decision that we saw, the draft that we saw, it's not just about abortion rights, is it?
No.
Because what's going to happen next, and we already see it happening in states across the country, they're coming after trans rights. Marriage equality is going to be on the list next. Who you can love, who you can marry, that's on the list next. So when I say, I don't want to hear anyone say, well, it doesn't affect me. It affects all of us. It affects all of us. And so JB and I are committed. You've heard me tonight. We're going to do everything we can to protect these rights. We're going to work as hard as we can to keep serving the people of Illinois, and we are going to make Illinois, as it already has been, a safe haven, because there are people all over this country who are going to have to find, how do I get to a place where I can have a safe, legal abortion? Because abortion isn't going to end because of overturning Roe v. Wade. It's still going to happen. It just won't be safe. Just won't be accessible. And too many people don't have money to have transportation to a state like Illinois. So we've got to make sure that this happens. So thank you for having me. And I know I probably took too, no, I'm not going to go. I've been fired up, y'all. I'm just going to say this. I've been fired up. And we've got to carry this energy all the way to November and make sure Democrats, pro-choice Democrats, are elected up and down the ticket.
Women.
Yeah. Yes. And we're going to make sure that that happens, and we can't do it unless we stick together. I honor your humanity. I honor your humanity, which is why I can do this work. As we honor each other's humanity, then we recognize that there's nothing that I should have access to that my sibling, each of you, should not have access to. That's the way it works. That's the way it works in our democracy. That's the way it should work. And when that is threatened, then we stand up and we use the power of our voices and the power of our votes. That's how we make a difference. Thank you for having me tonight. And it's now my honor to introduce somebody who's been such a great friend and ally and such a strong, powerful voice in this space of reproductive rights and freedom, and someone I'm just so glad to call a friend. Oren, come on up. And then Joyce.
I'm going to break two personal rules. The first one is speaking after Juliana, and the second is speaking after some whiskey. But I've had to drink a little bit in the last couple of days.